What is a zombie? A zombie is a deceased human that has returned back to life due to unexplainable circumstances. The brain only provides base motor functionality with no emotion, personality, or feeling of pain. A zombie also has craving for human flesh. The anatomy of a zombie is simple. In this picture, one can see the simple differences between zombies and humans. A zombie usually has a crooked head, mindless eyes, grasping hands, and a limp. The first known zombie appearance in culture was in the Epic of Gilgamesh. The Epic of Gilgamesh is one of the oldest pieces of literature known to man. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, the goddess Ishtar promised, "I will raise up the dead, and they will eat the living, and the dead will outnumber the living." Zombies also showed up in different cultures throughout the years. One major presence was in Scandinavia in 8th century BC. The Vikings' name for a zombie was Draugr. A Draugr was an unstoppable monster from Norse mythology that came back from the dead and ate the living. The Draugr was widely popularized by the video game Skyrim, as seen here. However, today's zombie is based off George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. In Romero's movie, the zombie became more of an apocalyptic monster. This monster then smashed into pop culture, appearing in video games and movies alike. The following is a clip of the Night of the Living Dead, which changed the perception of zombies as seen in the montage afterwards.
Night of the living dead in flesh. The dead whose haunted souls hunt the living.
The following montage is depicting the evolution of zombies in the media. Viewers' discretion is advised.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me?
So it's the fact that I need the currency that's escaping from me. Without the almighty dollar, tragedy it'll be. It's like they're trying to take everything from my grasp, and I can't afford to pay cause I don't have the cash. My life seems to be full of unattainable things. I'm hitting ignore whenever the phone starts to ring. Collectors trying to collect every dollar in debt and taking it all before I'm even getting my check. Damn.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me?
Without a pot to piss in or a dollar to pill, lacking nutrition like McDonald's dollar deals. I seen more things than the miles on a dollar bill, like when the chrome in your mouth and shine like Mike Jones' grill. I came from the struggle, so I know I broke Phil. I developed character, discipline, and will. I'm from Westville, where people kill at will, and they'll do anything for a dollar bill for real.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Well, I don't know if I'm walking on solid ground, cause everything around me is falling down. And all I want is for someone to help me.
What you need, see me, I need the whole world moving slow through the city streets. Old girl worry about the purses, should be worried about the kids first. It's hard, pick up another gig just for surplus. He hurt, but nobody gonna work for him. Depression postmortem for the stress, but go forward, nothing to look back on. Too real while you act on, they take right in front of your face. It's like that though.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me?
I'm on on the heels of bills like they owe me. Was on mine, what they all seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the video games are great, and actually George Romero credits the video games, not the movies, with bringing zombies back into popularity. With 1995, Resident Evil, the first Resident Evil came out, it changed the face of horror gaming and arguably gaming in general, right? I mean, it was really that first like survival game where you just don't get unlimited bullets, and you have to actually find medicine to cure yourself, and so. And it was scary, really scary. So it really changed the face of gaming, and I think that Romero has said repeatedly that he thinks that is kind of what has brought zombies back into popularity. I think it's interesting that if you look at something like the original Resident Evil, where the graphics were amazing for the time, but they didn't have the technology to make these large open worlds. So what they did was they did very small rooms. You were inside a building and you sort of went from one room to another, and they gave the impression that the entire city was overrun with zombies, but really it was just you and a couple of zombies because of the technology. That kind of mirrors Night of the Living Dead, very low budget movie, where they simulated a big zombie outbreak by just using one farmhouse and just a handful of zombies attacking a farmhouse, right? And then you look at the next evolution in zombies in film and video games. You go to Dawn of the Dead, right? Bigger budget, in a mall, we can use more zombies. And then you go to, what's the video game? Then you go to Dead Rising, right? Dead Rising, in a mall, more zombies, better technology, we can create more zombies. Then you go, right, to something like Land of the Dead or Zombieland, where we, in the movies where we got a bigger budget and we're just gonna, the whole world, the president's getting eaten, whoever, right? Same thing with the video games. You go to Left 4 Dead, right? Whole world, let's go explore the world, tons of zombies, plus fast zombies, right? In keeping with the new trend in movies, fast zombies. So I think that they've mirrored each other a lot, and that's pretty interesting.
That montage showed the media's perception of zombies, but could zombies exit Hollywood and enter into reality? The study of zombies is alive and well in today's culture. The Zombie Research Society is a global community dedicated to the study of zombie anatomy, survival, and pop culture. Matt Moguk is their founder.
Zombie Research Society is a collection of academics and enthusiasts who are interested in studying zombies as if they're a scientific reality. So we don't make anything up. We don't say that there was a zombie outbreak last week at a Walmart in Iowa or something like that. We all know that didn't happen. What we do say is, we ask the question, if zombies were actually show up at your front door, what would they look like? What would they smell like? How would they hunt you? How would their brain work? And so we do serious academic study of it, and then from there we try to extrapolate survival strategies so that when it actually happens, we have a chance of making it through.
While searching Zombie Apocalypse Survival Guide on Google, over 9 million results are shown, all illustrating different strategies to survive. One of the most popular is the book The Zombie Survival Guide by Max Brooks. This is one example of showing the world's readiness with today's pop culture to survive a zombie apocalypse. While that book may be fictional, the military handbook FM 993 Counter-Zombie Operations at the Fireteam Level is not. This handbook instructs military personnel on how to act, what weapons to use, and even how to maneuver in a zombie-infected area.
First of all, again, it's all theory, right? Anybody that tells you they know exactly what a zombie is going to be like and exactly how to survive is doomed to be wrong. We don't have a zombie that we can dissect, and there's no historically recorded zombie outbreak. So they're doomed to be wrong, and if you follow their advice, you're probably going to get eaten along with them. But we do have working theories about zombie brain function. We've got a couple neuroscientists on our board who've built a 3D model of the zombie brain. So by observing zombie behavior, they've been able to identify what parts of the brain are working and what parts aren't, which then of course helps with how you kill a zombie, right? Because you need to know what parts of the brain are working to figure out what parts of the brain you need to destroy. One of our board members is a professor of international politics at Tufts University, and he wrote a book called Theories of International Politics and Zombies. And so it's a serious academic study of how different governments would deal with a zombie outbreak. So that's like exactly the kind of stuff we try to do.
All these theories are good for surviving a zombie outbreak, but could one actually happen? What could cause a worldwide zombie apocalypse? A neurotoxin is a poison which affects the nervous system of humans. How could this possibly relate to zombieism? In Haiti in 1962, Clervius Narcisse was declared dead by 2 doctors and buried. It was said he died of natural causes. He was found 18 years later wandering around the village. The Haitian government and local voodoo priests had been practicing using natural neurotoxins to poison the population and turn them into walking zombies to work in sugar plantations.
The most famous documented case of a zombie is the story of Clervius Narcisse. It not only provoked much speculation in Haiti, but intrigued researchers in the rest of the world. On April 30th, 1962, Clervius Narcisse arrived at Albert Schweitzer Hospital in Haiti, complaining of fever and body aches.
Ok, nous avons un patient qui est venu à l'hôpital là, Narcisse Clervius. Il était venu à l'hôpital là, il a consulté lui, après ça il est mort.
His two attending physicians, both American trained, pronounced Clervius Narcisse dead, and he was buried the next day. "18 years later, Angelina Narcisse was walking through the marketplace in her village when she was approached by a man claiming to be her brother Clervius. He used his childhood nickname, which only close family members could have known. He told her of his ordeal so many years ago. As he lay in his hospital bed, unable to move, he remained aware of all the events unfolding around him. He heard the doctors' voices pronounce his death, felt the sheet pulled over his face, heard Angelina weep at his bedside. Time passed. Suddenly the coffin lid was thrown open. He was pulled from the ground, beaten, bound, gagged, and dragged away. Narcisse ended up on a sugar plantation where he and other men like him were made to work in the fields. According to Haitian folklore, he was a zombie.
Not only is a zombie infection possible, but it's already happened. Many people are saying that a zombie apocalypse could be happening right now. A series of events in Florida point towards a mass infection. There have been many hazmat incidents and cases of assault. The following news clips show the most gruesome of these events.
Right now, new at 11 for you, new information on that horrific attack by the MacArthur Causeway. Police were forced to open fire on a naked man who refused to stop chewing the face off of another man. We look into what could have caused this attack, and we have new details on just how much of the victim's face was literally bitten off. CBS 4's Tiffany Hellberg spoke to a police officer who was at the crime scene. She joins us live from Miami. And Tiffany, the officer believes the man clearly was on some very, very powerful drugs.
That's right, Cynthia. The Fraternal Order of Police president tells me this crop of LSD is a major threat to police officers as well as the rest of us. He says it turns normal people into monsters that possess this superhuman strength and no ability to feel pain. He believes that's what was behind the incident that unfolded here Saturday in broad daylight just off the MacArthur Causeway exit right next to the Miami Herald. And it was the Herald's surveillance video that caught much of it on tape. Now, we want to warn you, much of the details you're about to hear are disturbing and gruesome.
It totally horrified me. This was probably in my 30 years as a police officer, the nastiest, most horrific incident I've ever seen.
An incident partially caught on camera by Miami Herald surveillance. Fraternal Order of Police President Armando Aguilar says that cop had no choice but to shoot when he found a naked man chewing away at another man's face.
Had his face completely eaten from the top of his forehead to almost his jaw. It wasn't just that he was being bit, it's that the person was actually swallowing pieces of his face.
His cannibalistic attacker unfazed by the officer's commands to stop.
When the police approached him, he turned around and growled and kept attacking the victim on the floor.
That's when he says the officer shot him.
The initial shots had no effect. He had to repeatedly shoot him about 4 times, until the man collapsed.
The naked attacker now dead on the sidewalk. There he is on the left. His now faceless victim lay on the ground next to him, likely writhing in pain as sources say he no longer had eyes or a nose.
I can only imagine, and by talking to the officer, I see that he's totally traumatized. It was like something out of a horror movie.
Aguilar says this is the worst out of about 4 similar cases in Dade County to happen recently. In other incidents, the people have admitted to taking a new strain of what they're calling bad LSD.
Their body temperature reaches such a high degree that they have to take all their clothes off because they're basically melting from the inside.
He says that was a case just blocks away on Bayshore Drive. That was in March when a bloody naked man who had been hit by a cab growled at police and showed superhuman strength when they tried to help him.
There was more than 10 or 15 officers on the scene, and even after they tasered the man 2 or 3 times, he was still able to take a baton away from one of our officers and severely damage her arm.
Scary stuff. Now, I'm told that man from the March incident did survive. As for the man related to this incident off the MacArthur Causeway who was attacked in the face, we know he is currently hospitalized in critical condition. Live in downtown Miami, Tiffany Helberg, CBS 4 News Tonight.
Unbelievable to hear it all. Thanks for that, Tiffany.
And right now at 6, we now know the identity of the man whose face was gnawed off during a struggle on the MacArthur Causeway.
Plus, we've learned disturbing new information about the past of the man accused in that horrific attack. Could it all have been avoided? The victim is a 65-year-old homeless man who may have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Local 10's Glenna Milberg is live from Jackson Memorial Hospital with the latest on his condition.
Lori, Calvin, critical is his condition, and by all accounts, 3/4 of his face is essentially missing. His name is Ronald Popo, as you said, 65-year-old homeless man. We have known his identity for a few days. We've held off until police could notify his next of kin. He was known to camp, if you will, his homeless home near the MacArthur, but right near it is unclear whether he knew or how he knew Rudy Eugene before that horrific attack on Saturday. Now let's talk about Rudy Eugene. You've heard some police theorize he was on some drug-induced psychosis. Well, other police officers we met today, as well as Eugene's ex-wife, called him possibly mentally ill. And so we explored that today, and you might be surprised about what we found.
8 years before an officer shot Rudy Eugene to halt Saturday's frenzied, ravaging, cannibalistic attack, this North Miami Beach officer witnessed Eugene's bizarre behavior, arrested him at his mother's home in 2004 for beating her and threatening to kill her.
We can hear him yelling and throwing things inside the house.
In fact, Eugene made history that day as the first person ever tasered by an NMB officer, and records show it took 3 times to subdue him.
He wasn't cooperative. He wouldn't follow orders. He was very belligerent. He had that 1,000-yard stare that he's just staring, right into you. And
Mike Pond says Eugene may have been mentally ill, but had no history to go on.
That's pretty horrific, and it's pretty sad.
Miami-Dade Judge Steve Leifman has seen horrifying sadness. We caught up with him on his way to China, where he was invited to speak on the court's internationally known diversion program he created that gets help, not jail time, for the mentally ill. Despite Eugene's repeated arrests and erratic behavior, he was never referred to that program.
And we're getting much more sophisticated at that, but 4 years ago, which was the last time we really would have had a shot to get him, he just never came into the mental health part of it, unfortunately.
That 2008 arrest on drug charges was Eugene's most recent.
Rudy Eugene.
He stood quietly for his bond hearing that took less than a minute that day. He was eventually found guilty, but the court suspended his sentence, writing, "The defendant is not likely to engage in a criminal course of conduct." Eugene proved that prediction wrong Saturday.
That's Glenna Milberg reporting to us live. Glenna, do we have you back there?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you now, Glenna. We can see you as well. Glenna, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Laura. Yes, what I was going to say, excuse the technical difficulties, Miami detectives hope to learn so much more about what happened on Saturday from Ronald Popo, but it will be such a long time before anyone here can really say whether he'll pull through for that.
As we can see, the threat of a zombie apocalypse is more than just a distant fear in today's world. It could happen tomorrow, or it could never happen. One thing remains certain, however. As long as there are zombie enthusiasts to make crazy theories, zombies will remain as a prominent part of pop culture for years to come.